says Ram. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Shut ITNTN. Says Quicksilver 17 no. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Lee. Says Quicksilver 17 Cloud X Spy. Says Jag Floor Foxy. You. Bamboo. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. What? Says Synthron 85 High Blue. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Where's Millie? Says Kaiman can some PLZ be my friend? Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. I'll BRB goes to make. Hollow Star. Pasta. Hollow Star. For Zachary. Says. Says Synthron 85 are you mad at me? Says Sweatier Orphan 5 what? Says Formed Baker 8150. You. And for tonight is RP. Says Calho 1363. You. Back. Says Urfav every 152 you forgot their name. Says Street Sweepa 23. Plus. Lots and lots and lots. Says S14 Wolf welcome back. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Zachary. Says Kaiman. Says Calho 1363. You. Thank you. Says Urfav every 152 oh that's sad. Says S14 Wolf NP. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Gives. Hollow Star. Pasta. Hollow Star. Here. Says Calho 1363. You. Do you wanna do some? Says Lukia 104. You. BC. Nathix FR 7777 has come online. Says S14 Wolf question. Says Iconic 8736 hello. Duck King 2016 has come online. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Says Quicksilver 17 that was fast. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. SRY maybe she'll be on later. Says S4. Says Urfav every 152 okay. Nathix FR 7777 has gone offline. Says Synthron 85 blue. Says Lukia 104. You. I have Ma Food Cloud. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. Says Ahind D sub to 4 Medbaker. Says Carlos A Flopa Algaim de Brazil. Says S14 Wolf Cole works if not. Nathix FR 7777 has come online. Says Jag Floor Foxy. You. Wanna do SM? Says Street Sweepa 23. Plus. But it's Luna 4. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. 30th by Billie Eilish. Nathix FR 7777 has gone offline. Says Lukia 104. You. I can sing DA30 run somehow no cap. Says Calho 1363. You. I don't really have any other nicknames. Nathix FR 7777 has come online. Says Jag Says Jag Floor Foxy. You. ALR. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Stay here Zachary I'll be back. Says Calho 1363. You. Some people call me B-Dog though. Says Quicksilver 17 same. Says Lukia 104. You. I almost did passed out after. Says Jag Floor Foxy. You. Do you wanna do something? Says Quicksilver 17 brew. Says Bamboo Panda 8603. You. Maybe. Says S14 Wolf K'll stick with Cole. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Sigh. Says Jag Floor Foxy. You. What you wanna do? Says Calho 1363. You. KK. Says Bamboo Panda 8603. You. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Takes off hat. Says Jag Floor Foxy. You. Yes. Says S14 Wolf Hub. Says Sweatier Orphan 5 who are you you're not Zachary. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. My powers. All they are doing is acting up. Says Street Sweepa 23. Plus. I was like is it too late to be friends but they said it's never too late for friendship. Says Toxic Rain 061 TCT. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Huh, says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. What's wrong, Lee? Says Lukia 104. You. Rue Quick, says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Cummings Zach. Nathix FR 7777 has gone offline. Says S14 Wolf what you wanna do. Says Lukia 104. You. NVM. Says S14 Wolf cubed. Says Calho 1363. You. Axolotl. Says Zinthron 85 I'ma go then. Says Calho 1363. You. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. I think Lex might be sad. Says Zinthron 85 Sri if I made you mad blue. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. No Lex. Says Quicksilver 17 Jumping Jacks. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. This is my RP brother Zachary Wadim he's not Zachary? Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. OMG. Says Birdie 19806. Plus, follow our Twitter. At the HiveMic. Says Saggy 2793 Uwu. Says Mermaid X Mama Hi. Says Sweatier Orphan 5 really I thought on the FKRST you were going to buy me that demon and angel thing. Says Toxic Rain 061 buy. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. What? Says Lukia 104. You. HRU tonight? Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Oopa. Gets on Dragon. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. She juice left. Says Quicksilver 17 good HBU. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. And said sorry if I made you mad blue. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. Brew. Says a hind D the one whose hand brings curses to land. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Looks for another book. Says Mermaid X Mama : Says Spigui 1212. You. Egg. Says Lukia 104. You. Okay I blacked out after doing the 100 push-ups. Says Astley 44XD. Says a hind D shall at last take her final stand. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. My mind. Come on there's gotta be more on my power that explains more. Says Spigui 1212. You. Good morning Luke. Says Lukia 104. You. Spy WDYM. Says a hind D after years of trying to hide. Says Quicksilver 7. Says Spigui 1000. Says Lukia 104. You. It's 7:58 p.m. Says Sweatier Orphan 50 sorry I thought it was last month you said that. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. Well now MEVN more sad. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Why? Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. There's no other book. Says Spigui 1212. You. Nah it's 92 plus 3. 3 p.m. RN. Says Quicksilver 17801 for me. Says a hind D the cure to the spell she'll finally find. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. NVM. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. U : Says Lukia 104. You. Oh then it's 801XD. Says Sweatier Orphan 5 BRB. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Hey. Says Spigui 1212. You. Nah. Says Lukia 104. You. My timed brain wrong. Says a hind D. Hello? Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Do you know anything on Whispers radioactive powers? Says Quicksilver 17 boob. Says Spigui 1212. You. It cuz SpongeBob is flying? Says Lukia 104. You. Bad girl. Says Quicksilver 17 pardon. Says a hind DN no but my eyes glow blue. Says Quicksilver 17 boob. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. WH. Says a hind D the one whose hand brings curses to land. Says a hind D shall at last take her final stand. Says Toxic Rain 061. Says Quicksilver 17 hi. Says a hind D after years of trying to hide. Says a hind D the cure to the spell she'll finally find. Says Quicksilver 17 you saw none. Says Spigui 1212. You. It cuz sand is blue? Says Toxic Rain 061 TCT yeah. Join our Discord. Run Discord or visit Discord GG Hive. Says Quicksilver 17 boob. Says a hind D they turn back before I pass out. Says Thebert 0. You. Royals. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. My mind. I got a curse. Is she talking ABME? Nah prob not. Right. Right. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. Ha. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Says Sweatier Orphan 5 im back. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. You okay? Says Kaiman Cat Whiskers PLZ leave me alone. Says Thebert 0. You. What in the roleplay? Says Thebert 0. You. WSG Blue. Says QWERTYboard 4824 she look at the basement care is glitching not the corruption. Says Spigui 1212. You. Luke. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Hello person. Says Thebert 0. You. Ha. Says QWERTYboard 4824 she look at the basement cave is glitching not the corruption. Says Lukia 104. You. What? Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Goes to basement. Says Astley 44 High. Says Astley 44 Oola. Says a hind DWH. Says Quicksilver 17 goes. Says Spigui 1212. You. If you think Aptit Blue is JS Ocean and Egg is sheep. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. WH ha yeah bro? Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Lee. Says Astley 44A. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. What? Says a hind DU. Says Spigui 1212. You. Cuz sand is green. Says Kaiman SMOPLZHLP me SMO is stock. Says Sweatier Orphan 5 BRB. Says a hind DICU in my dreams. Says Lukia 104. You. Escaped. Says Quicksilver 17 hey. Says Formed Baker 8150. You. Think something very good. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Leave Earthvic. Says Astley 44 sorry. Says a hind DIC Chaos and Reckoning. Says Quicksilver 17 boob. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. Cool same. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. My hands glow green. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Huh. Says Spigui 1212. You. Luke. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Yay. Says Kaiman leave me alone. Says Thebert 0. You. Igs are just so joyful. Says a hind DA and that. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Shoots radioactive goop at cave. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. Cool. Says Spigui 1212. You. Blue is JS green with car. Says Lukia 104. You. What's Spahi XD? Says Stuffy Skate 7617 Hiai. Says Quicksilver 17 XD. Says Silent 7184 Hey. Says Kaiman back off. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Look I am sorry I am trying to get IT under control. Says Sweatier Orphan 5 im back. Says Stuffy Skate 7617 wanna play something. Says Blue Azure High back. Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Luke. Only I can cal spy that. Says Silent 7184 sure. Says Spigui 1212. You. Luke only Cloud can call me dad. Says Astley 44 no intiterer. Didn't get your store purchase? Try fix per case. Says Quicksilver 17 ya Luke. Says Lukia 104. You. Okay then ihups. Says Lukia 104. You. XD. Says Stuffy Skate 7617 what you wanna play. Says Silent 7184 Bedwars. Says Spigui 1212. You. Ihups is JS Moon with cheese. Says a hind DS sorry. Says Stuffy Skate Gate 7617 OK, says QWERTYboard 4824 the basement is glitching, not the corruption but different, almost like reality is breaking and glitching, says Kaiman can someone help me T0T, says Shadow Cloud 2321, Idipsis Spahi backwards, Krazimonki 6606 has gone offline, says Bluesy Wall 19641, anyone wanna run BWS, says Sweaty or Orphan 5 you remember me silent, says Ahind D I have weird dreams, says Shadow Cloud 2321, IJS, runs, says Silent 7184 Wait Sweater, says Spigui 1212, I Kazim Ice Cream with Job, says Thebertwitcher 0, imagine no one runs after her, says Ahind D Wait, says Quicksilver 17 Boo, says Birdie 19806, plus, Imna do parkour, says Ramon Dark 80, where is the breaking, says Ahind D I'm sorry, says Lukia 104, no, says QWERTYboard 4824 the basement is glitching, not the corruption but different, almost like reality is breaking and glitching with blue glowing vines, says Shadow Cloud 2321, am I gonna cause a apocalypse or something, says Bluesy Wall 19641, I not do parkour off a cliff, says Ahind D my dreams are weird, says Spigui 1212, Luke, says Shadow Cloud 2321, says Thebertwitcher 0, so joyful, says Lukia 104, what it hopes, says Ahind D it's probably just a coincidence, says Shadow Cloud 2321, Idipsis Spahi backwards, says Spigui 1212, 71 plus sun equals eggnog, Nathix FR 7777 has come online, Krazimonki 6606 has come online, says Shadow Cloud 2321, says Lukia 104, says Bluesy Wall 19641, yes person very joyful, says Quicksilver 17 new nickname Ihips, says Shadow Cloud 2321, says Ahind D I'm Hazel, Nathix FR 7777 has gone offline, says Thebertwitcher 0, do you not know who I am D, says Shadow Cloud 2321, bro can you help me, Nathix FR 7777 has come online, says QWERTYboard 4824 reality breaking QWERTY, hi, says Shadow Cloud 2321, like get me outta here, says Bluesy Wall 19641, Lukov, says Lukia 104, no, says Thebertwitcher 0, Wawth, says Quicksilver, says Thebertwitcher 0, Thatsif Sothosimith. Comma need help? Go says Spigui 1212, live, says Kaiman who wants to RP with me, says Bluesy Wall 19641, Eth Noeth, says Shadow Cloud 2321, shoots radioactive goop by form sorry, says Ahind D you didn't look like the one causing chaos in my dream, says Shadow Cloud 2321, I didn't? Says Sweaty or Orphan 5 bro what is this RP? Says Thebertwitcher 0, FR, says Shadow Cloud 2321, says Shadow Cloud 2321, he's my brother? Says Thebertwitcher 0, yees? Says Toxic Rain 061 TCT, says Bluesy Wall 19641, Very important Q Ustoin, says Lukia 104, okay, says Thebertwitcher 0, okay what, says Random Orca 1808, is the RP still happening, says Quicksilver 17 BU, says Shadow Cloud 2321, You. My powers get out of control and I get flinged into the furor, says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. How is Millie doing? Says Random Orca 1808. You. Wakes up, says Astley 44. Sorry, L don't understand. Elm from Mexico, says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Fire, says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Good question, says Kaiman. Will someone RP with me? Says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. The fire turns green, says Lukia 104. You. Millie, you mean Lollipopo? Says Toxic Rain 061. Water, says Random Orca 1000. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You? Says Astley 44K Fio. Says Ramon Dark 80. You. Did you know realty is breaking in the basement? Says Spigui 1212. You. Life is a wonderful place where not so wonderful things happen, says QWERTYBoard 4824. Shadow can't help but look at the basement, but she's still thinking and wondering, says Theberdwitcher 0. You. She's okay, says Lukia 104. You. Whatever. A Hind D has gone offline. Renegadarine 22 has come online, says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Okay good, says Random Orca 1808. You. Says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Gabby's at work currently so she seems better, says Shadow Cloud 2321. You. Runs off and disappears, says Lukia 104. You. Hog, says Quicksilver 17. Hog, says QWERTYBoard 4824. Reality breaking QWERTY. Hi again, says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Oh, nice, says Sweatier Orphan 5. Ill RP with you, says Random Orca 1808. You. Follows, says Ramon Dark 80. You. Hi, says Kaiman. OK WHTRP you want, I don't care which one. Found someone breaking the rules? Report them with report. Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Do it when she'll be on next? Says Sweatier Orphan 5 Fantasy. Says QWERTYBoard 4824. The whole basement is glitching, not the corruption but different, almost like reality is breaking and glitching, says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Christmas. Says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Muahahahaha JK, says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Wait, says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Earlier probably, says Random Orca 1808. You. Says Spigui 1212. You. Thoughts happen, thoughts of life and wondering, is this the path I should be on? Says Bluesy Wall 19600. Says Theberdwitcher 0. You. S2 of her favorite show. Says Kaiman. OK Fantasy so WHT we do? Says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Oh. Says Quicksilver 17. Get over here, says Random Orca 1808. You. Strange, says Sweatier Orphan 5 IDK, says Bluesy Wall 9. Says Spigui 1212. You. What an odd life we live in, says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Percy Jackson Lou, says Theberdwitcher 0. You. LOL, says Birdie. Says Theberdwitcher 0. You. And Peppa Pig. Says Birdie 19806. Plus. Says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Jump scared me MG, says Ingenista. Plus. Lee, says Ingenista. Plus. Lee, says Bluesy Wall 19641. You. Peppa Pig, says Ingenista. Plus. Like CS, says Theberdwitcher 0. You. Yes, says Formed Baker 8150. Says Theberdwitcher 0.